Hey guys, before we get into it, I appreciate you guys watching. If you like my content, click the bell here. Hit all. This way you can get an alert every time I post a video, which is usually 6 p.m. EST every day. Also guys, please like and share, and keep in mind that this is a comprehensive video about universal basic income. Love you guys. The follow
Hey, what's
back.
going
What's
on?
up?
Can you hear me?
Yes sir. What's up?
Not much. I had to turn down the stream because I was watching it. I didn't want it to echo back into your stream, so
Yeah. That happens all the
yeah,
time, man. That happens all the time. So
yeah.
what's going on, man? How you been doing?
I'm still kind of mad about this ban, bro.
Oh yeah, they kept you banned, right? What was your
Yeah,
account at?
yeah. My that was my first account. That account was at 200, and well, I lost a lot of followers doing the whole uh satire thing,
What was it
acting
like
like
acting like a conservative thing?
I yeah, I changed my name to like Super Straight Man 451.
Yeah, I saw that you were super straight man, and then you turned into like a user or whatever. Like I think you asked them to change it or something.
No, they actually said that. So TikTok made the whole super straight hashtag or anything like that, like
Oh,
part of their hate speech thing. So like they forced me to change my
really?
name. Yeah, like they actually gave me a strike against my account for having that name, and I'm just like, bro, like you can't force people to keep their
What?
account names for 30 days and then violate me for that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's okay. So I'm assuming that's why that one got pulled down. Yeah, so dude. I got to be honest with you because like obviously like I'm progressive, whatever. But like progressives are super fucking toxic.
Oh,
Um,
for
like
sure, dude. And it was definitely them. Like I was losing thousands of followers. I don't care about followers. I don't give a shit. And talking about like the whole trans thing, but like these were actually my views. Thinking that it's they're saying like, oh, it's just transphobic if you don't want to fuck a trans person. I'm just like,
did you
no,
make
it
like
isn't.
one video? Did you make like one video that was like conservative troll?
So I made one video to show that a lot of bigoted content or controversial content really gets pushed hard on TikTok. Um,
Well, people tend to. I wouldn't say that TikTok does it as much as like people. They'll find it and they will hook onto it and they love it.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. But I was just trying to show that, and it's not really just the views and the comments or the interaction. It's the somebody makes a video stating something that is completely false information, gets 2 million views,
Oh
five hundred
yeah.
thousand likes, and then somebody going against that misinformation. Like, do you know how many times I've actually tried to post videos countering something that I know was completely false,
Hmm.
and like TikTok won't even post it, or then like it'll be up for like 20 minutes, and then like I'll get a strike for like harassment and bullying. I'm just like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, you got to
So
be
it's
very
like,
careful about the way that you
yeah,
phrase your
yeah,
responses to people, and then like especially if you have them linked in your video, much higher chance of getting pulled down. Like, cause like if you stitch it, especially, it can be very finicky because, like for whatever like the whatever way they push it through the algorithm, you get like tagged onto their traction for their video, and so it'll
yeah,
go to their audience too. And if they
yep,
don't like it, they'll report you and like get
yeah,
yours pulled down.
yeah.
Um,
But I mean, after that, I really kind of just started getting into whole because I was seeing a lot of toxic arguments about the whole like, oh, it's transphobic to not want to date a trans person. I'm just like making arguments against that, and then what do you know? A couple days later, my account was gone. So I'm just like, and then they banned me for supposedly hateful behavior, and then like
yeah.
I cited their own guidelines back to them. I'm just like, I've done none of this, and they're just like, well, we reviewed it. Like they gave me like a very political like response answer, like the whole dance around thing, and
Oh
I kind
yeah,
of
they gave
yeah,
you a
I
copy
railed on
pasted
them
answer.
pretty much.
Uh,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
unfortunate, and yeah, like a lot of the conservative videos get a lot of views too, because not just conservatives who like it; it's like the progressives like eat it up, so they like jump on it, and because like I have a video that's like it was at like 200K for a while. Now it's like 5 or 600K. It's over a month old. It was a silly video where like this black girl was like, "Oh, white people don't call me sis," and I was like, "Oh, it's not because she doesn't
yeah,
like white people. It's because she goes." When I didn't say she actually was very careful. Excuse me if I misgendered them. I was very careful to use like they them language while describing the person.
yeah,
And I was like, "Oh, call them this instead because it rhymes with sis." And like it's a stupid joke, and like I thought it was funny. Some people probably don't, but people are like, "Wow, you're misgendering them, like you're racist." And it's like, bro, what? What are you
dude.
talking about? Like it was probably like the most respectful joke I could have ever made. And
Yeah,
it's crazy, but people are toxic. But now that video's up to like 5 or 600K because people like are just being ridiculous about it. And that's what happens.
just
People react
yeah.
to it and then it gives the traction and then yada yada yada.
You get like a 400 comment like thread of just people arguing, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm about to ban every single person in here.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
You gotta
but
it's crazy, man.
dude, like it's funny. I have a lot of people who follow me who hate you for some reason. And when I was making all the supposedly transphobic videos about the arguments against that stuff, and people are like, oh, you're starting to sound like Papa Gut, and I'm just like, good, okay, like,
Well, I know
is that a bad thing?
people haven't been particularly thrilled with me lately because I've had some rough takes lately. Well, not even lately. Like I have had some rough takes like I guess 3 weeks ago and before that. But of course things linger for a long time. And then there's obviously people who don't like me who try to like push the narrative in the worst way possible. But that's like the game, you know.
Yeah.
People trying to like I know like we were talking about before the Fold. They're very much like their biggest hits come from trying to deplatform me. You know, so it's some of that toxic YouTube shit on here now, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I remember the anti SJW days, which I was actually very much a part of. And that kind of whole back and forth.
Maybe
But
we should get that going again. I think that the
yeah,
SJWs need to like they need to get knocked down because it's really shitty how like it's the SJWs like that'll pull like Denelli down or Don Elijah whatever for
whatever the I don't know how to pronounce
like
his name either.
like listen the face is probably like some kind of phobic, maybe a little bit, but like we have pedophiles on here, actually
Verified
like
pedophile.
verified pedophiles,
Yeah.
and like even with my joke about old enough to bleed, old enough, like nobody mentioned the last half of that video. Nobody was like, "Hey, this is really shitty."
I defended you on that video, and people were calling me like a rape apologist.
Bro,
like,
all you have, you
excuse
could,
me?
your defense could be that was really shitty. You shouldn't make those jokes. But I see that you're trying to get like attention towards Andre Lopez, and that would have been a perfectly thing. But like everybody, like again, like people in the Fold, they forgot to add the last half of that video. You know, which and honestly, that's why it took me so long to realize that I was being a little racist with some of my new takes because like I didn't respect their opinion because they're very clearly going after me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes it difficult to want to listen to the people who are intentionally targeting you.
Yeah, I will say that like I was in the Fold when it like first started. Like I was obviously invited to it because I was a fairly big left wing content creator, and there's a lot of people in the Fold who I like a lot. Young McFire, I Speak, you know what I mean? Gen Extra, like these are people who I consider myself.
Well,
Like,
Gen Extra is another fucking idiot, to be honest with you.
yeah,
And I only say that because I made a video like maybe a couple weeks ago where I was trying to like educate people on systemic racism, and I had said if you don't, I basically said something to the point of like what the fuck did I say? I said okay. When it comes to systemic racism, we can acknowledge slavery, segregation, this and the other thing. But if you don't want to go with that route, let me ask you, why do you think black people are underperforming in America? And then I go on to say it's because, like, whatever. And she just cut the one part of it out. And it was like, oh, okay, so you are racist. Do you think that black people are underperforming? It's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, that's the whole problem. And, it's a lot of, nobody saw it. I just pulled the video down and I moved on. I was like,
I didn't even see that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, right. So.
Yeah. But, the whole like what really set me off was that I was kicked out of that fucking group. And it's all T Nathan. Like he's the one who pushes all this shit.
Well, I think he's the toxic.
He's a total narcissist. I don't give a shit if he hears this or not. Like, you can call me out or whatever. He's just a total narcissist. And I was kicked out, ironically, and this is going to be the ironic part that you're going to hear right now, because with the whole debacle with the Select and him making advances towards a lot of the women in the Fold and stuff like that.
I had heard about something where a lot of black women were really pissed because of like you call it predatory behavior, or maybe not predatory, I don't know, but like really inappropriate, disrespectful behavior. And I know black women get shit like the most out of really like any woman in general. And like their whole thing is, or my understanding is, the Fold is supposed to be very much pro black women, but they don't seem to be holding those values close.
In that particular case, yes, and that's the reason why when I saw that, I'm just like, oh, really? Okay. Because what happened with me was that literally I had commented under one of the women's video, and she was talking something about this chick. I forgot her name. It's just like Nigerian black girl or some shit like that, but she's very conservative. And I said I really don't agree with anything she has to say, but I think she's really pretty. And then this chick like calls me out in the group chat, and she's like, "How dare you say this?" Blah 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 blah. And she's like, "You're gonna sit here and listen to me?" And I'm just like, "The fuck? No, I'm not. Like, excuse me." You know what I mean? She was like, "You're not gonna dismiss me," and I'm just like, "I am gonna dismiss you because you're not gonna talk to me like a child," you know. And then they were like, "Oh, you should apologize to her," and I was like, "Look, I'm sorry if I was dismissive to you, but like, you're not gonna talk to me like a kid."
I
You
see
know what
what
I
you're
mean?
saying. Yeah, I guess she felt it was like
Yeah.
offensive that you like hit on her when she felt like it wasn't a. I mean, I guess
I
get what
didn't
she's
hit
coming
on
from.
her. I didn't hit on her. I said that the girl she was responding to was pretty.
Oh, okay.
It
Well,
wasn't even
okay.
her. Yeah, you know what I
What is
mean?
that? The
And
white
then,
girl?
it was a black girl.
The one that was
But
pretty?
yes,
Oh, because I know that like that one white conservative girl. Everybody says she's pretty, like the blonde or whatever.
who?
I don't know what her name is.
I don't fucking know. I'm not really into blondes, so yeah. But
What
yeah.
are you,
So then
racist? I'm just kidding.
and then he's like, "Oh, do you accept his apology?" And she was like, "Yes." And then he sent me like this long ass fucking monologue of like how like I'll never let Narabi suffer through Scar's betrayal again or some shit, like a Lion King reference. And he's like, "I got to remove you." I'm just like, "What the fuck?"
No, he didn't. He said a fucking.
Yes, yes, he did. I wish I still had the text, bro, but I got my new
Oh
phone
my
and I didn't have.
God.
Yeah, it was super fucking cringe and weird, and like he removed me from it, and then like this other bullshit happens with the other guy, the select, and he has a wife, and he was like hitting on a lot of women in the fold and stuff like that, and then like T Nathan was propping him up, and
That's
even
what
like
I heard about.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
That's
I'm just
much
like,
worse
are
than what
fucking
you
serious?
had. Yeah, it's far worse than
A
anything you
thousand
did.
times worse. Yeah, yeah.
And
So,
I think that like is the thing that bothers me the most. 'Cause I get called out, whatever. Like I understand, even if it's not a fair criticism, like this is the game, right? But like what I found really shitty was like I don't know if you like I think you might have been into the thing yesterday when we were talking about the Black Leftist Hype House and
yeah.
like you know those black femmes. I know they didn't want to be called women. I'm just fucking everything's crazy. You know I'm old, but these black femmes weren't like they had allegations, and the proper thing to do is listen to what they're saying, even if they may not always have the correct interpretation. You know, you listen to people. And
Yeah.
I saw him actively bullying the shit out of them and saying, like, I'm going to come after you if you keep slandering this kid. But, like, he was pushing boundaries. That's sexual harassment. And, like, he wasn't doing it as a bad person. He was doing it because clearly he needs a little bit of a kick in the ass. And, like, he was propping him up rather than, like, criticizing him. And then the conscious lead was like, I have no idea who this kid is, like, saying out of it when he was duetting him. And it's like, dude, what? Yeah, he's like, I have no idea who this kid is. I have like the screenshot, like the everything was pulled down, but I saved everything. And it's like, dude, how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna like you're literally like this is terrible. And like I'm pretty sure he saw that stream because they were in like their other streams of mine. I know that, and like that's why he decided to go the correct route, which is to talk to them privately and have the kid apologize. But it's like it's really sad that like you know because I was gonna say something today and then I looked into it first. I'm like before I do anything. Because I'm not trying to be like a drama starter. Let me look into it. And then I found that they settled it privately and he was part of it. And then the young girl, I think, I don't know how to say her name. Zioria? I don't know how to say it.
No. Ziora? I don't know.
She reached out to one of my mods, like my actual like lead mod. And it was like, oh, it sent the thing like, oh, we resolved it privately, which is the reason I
saw that.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, it's shitty that it's shitty because I know they saw it. That's actually how I know too that I had to come to that to like defend women or femme individuals. You had to be pressured like that into shit.
I think that personally, I just happen to think that anybody under the age of we'll say 20 is pretty just fucking stupid.
For sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying this to like rail on young people or teenagers. I'm saying it because I've been that age.
Because they're stupid.
And I was stupid at that time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if I was like 18, you know what I mean, with a couple thousand subscribers on TikTok, I would probably be. You know what I mean? Like
you'd be full of yourself and like you would push and like that's the thing. It's like that's why it's like okay, he was 18. And like some of the things they were saying was like he talks to minor, like an 18-year-old talking to a 16-year-old. I'm not crying over it. Like that's a reasonable age range. And he was feeling himself a little too much. He was too cocky and confident. But like you're at an age where like you can be like told, hey, not appropriate. And then you apologize and you stop and you move on. That's part of growing as a human being.
Yeah.
But like I didn't like the whole thing where like he had made like a joke, like a virgin joke. You know how it is, like you talk yourself up your first time you had sex. He was like, oh, first time I had sex, she liked it, like it was so big that she had to tap out, but I kept getting mine. He's clearly didn't actually assault this girl. But instead of T. Nathan saying, hey, like that language is wrong. but I know it's a joke because he verified it too. He had his ex-girlfriend like clarify. He was like, that doesn't mean you withdraw consent. Like it totally does. Tapping out is literally the definition of like giving up. Like I don't know. It's just like and to me that shows a lack of critical thinking skills, where it's more about defending the person rather than like reasonably criticizing their behavior.
People, I don't understand. Like, if you're engaging in any type of sexual intercourse with somebody, they have the ability to withdraw their consent in the middle of that, and you as a man
Oh
have
yeah,
to
for sure.
suck it the fuck up and deal with it.
Yeah,
Like,
even if
oh,
you're a man, can
you know,
also withdraw consent. Yeah, yeah, and I understand. Yeah, power dynamic wise, usually it's the the man that has to be more careful. Like they are the ones that have to understand that you can withdraw consent. But oh, for sure, 100%.
yeah. And the whole power dynamic thing too is like the reason why I don't really like, aside from the fact that I have a girlfriend as well, but even when I didn't and I was on TikTok and I was kind of blowing the fuck up, one, I don't talk to girls or anything like that on TikTok, and two, I don't know any girls that even like me on TikTok. It's just a lot of gay dudes calling me cute.
I could
It's a
see
lot of
that. I could
you know
see
what I mean?
I could see you being like a little like I guess you say gay bait, you know what I mean? Like you look
Yeah, yeah.
you're like an aggressive. You almost look like an aggressive twink. Is that? I know what you
Well,
mean. Yeah, I know what you
people
mean.
say I have daddy energy, so like I'll take
There
it.
you go. There you go. You got like
You know?
daddy. Yeah, there you go. Like a daddy.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Which is true. Which is true.
I have a
But
couple of men hitting on me. I
oh,
used to, like, when I was still like in an open, because I'm in like a poly relationship and I was in an open one, I would talk to some of the girls too, and I pretty much stopped after like the one time where like this girl was trying to, I think it was kind of, it wasn't a huge thing, I talked about it for a while, but this girl was like claiming that I was being like super aggressive, and then like all the screenshots came out, my dick got leaked, she for some reason leaked her own tits.
God.
And it turned out like that I didn't do that whatsoever, and I'm like, these people, and everybody saw it, like I was like, just release it, and for whatever reason she didn't censor it, but people saw like, oh, okay, like she was full of shit, but like you know, it comes to a point, thank God she showed the screenshots because I hadn't saved them. I had deleted the thing. I was like an out of sight, out of mind because she was being super weird and clingy.
Yeah.
So that would like exonerated me from that situation. But like you never know what could fucking happen, man. Like you could get totally like shit on.
Yeah, I mean, is that why you're polyphobic?
Yeah, no, I'm polyphobic because like poly people are so gross, man. Poly
Dude, I
people are
don't.
weird.
You know what's funny? I don't. Sometimes you can say something like that, and people think that you're just like talking shit about an entire community, whatever. But it just so happens that people in certain communities just like it's like. Do you remember when I made that joke that you duetted, and I was like, not all racists are Trump supporters, but
Oh
all Trump
yeah.
supporters are racist. It's like that, right? It's like I'm not saying that all of them are like, but it's just so happens that every fucking person you meet who's part of that whatever community you're talking about is just shitty. You know what I mean? It's like I can totally see poly people being like overly sensitive and just like, oh, like get away from me.
It's one of
You
those
know?
things. Yeah, no, there's different like stereotypes with different groups, and a lot of times like there's levels of truth to them. Like on Trump supporters on TikTok are bizarrely racist, right? Like those are like, in my real life experience, I haven't met like a racist Trump supporter. A lot of my family is very conservative, but they're not like TikTok conservative, which is like terrible. But like you see the poly people on TikTok. It's like all weird hair, all weird looking, always doing like the DDLG fucking audios and shit. Super cringy and creepy.
Yeah.
And like there's more poly people than people think, but the normal people aren't going around making it their identity on TikTok. So yeah, I don't like those people on TikTok.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
weird. They're like
I'd be in a
furries.
exactly. That's what I said. I said that in the chat earlier. Like they're like furries. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I've known some furries, and they're just
They're fucking weird, man.
they're weird. They're weird. Exactly.
They can be good people, but they're weird, and I don't want to associate myself with them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had a best friend who was a furry years ago, and he was cool. I just told him, I was just like, yo, keep your weird furry shit away from me. You know what I mean? Like we can
Yeah,
talk about
right.
normal shit, but he'd get on like oh my god, what was that fucking website, like DeviantArt and shit like that, and I'd see
Yeah,
like
it's
weird
weird shit,
like
dude.
furry porn. Just like, bro, I can't.
It's super. Yeah, no, it's weird. I mean, listen, like, furry porn is so bizarre. I don't know. This shit's fucking weird. But you do you. I just keep that shit away from me. You know what I mean? It's the same thing
Yeah,
for everybody.
exactly.
Even like traditional gamers, like gamer guys that are like super like sexist and racist, misogynistic, and they stink. Those people are obnoxious too. I don't like them. Like I play games very clearly, but you wouldn't typecast me as a gamer based on the way I present myself. Like, don't make it your identity. You're probably a scumbag. Like,
You know what, I realized this in high school, or when I was still trying to like find my niche I grew up like in a very ghetto neighborhood and stuff like that. So I was kind of like a hood for the first half of my life. And when I got to high school, like all my friends were like rockers and shit. And I was like, oh, I'll be part of the rockers. And they were like, oh, if you don't like this band, then you're a poser. And I'm just like, but
I
I do
was
like this
I
band.
was
So
that
I'm
was
like,
that kid. I
yeah,
hated myself for it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm just like these guys. Okay, rockers are fucking idiots. So I was like, I'll hang out with the punk rockers maybe, they're fucking idiots. And I'll go to the
Hmm.
metal people. They're fucking idiots too. And then I'll go to
Everybody
the
is like
gamers.
super
They're all
toxic.
stupid. Yeah, dude. It's like, why do you have to make that entire thing your personality? And like, they're so condescending and annoying. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna be myself. Because so I don't understand how people can subscribe to like a personality trait and then just make that who they are.
Yeah, no,
What I mean?
that's what's like annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody, especially kids, are super like gatekeepy toxic. Because I was one of those like weird metal kids that was like, oh
Really?
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
hated it. And like I was
Oh,
like,
you
oh.
like Pantera isn't hard enough.
No,
You're a
I liked
poser. It's like
Pantera. Was
Pantera's not hard enough.
like I liked Pantera, but like if it was like I didn't like new metal, right? So like new metal
Like
wasn't real
Disturbed and
metal.
shit.
Yeah, yeah, it's not real metal. So
Yeah,
like, fuck
yeah,
yourself, that kind of shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I did
Oh
that shit
god.
all the time. Um, so you mentioned rap music. I actually wanted to like bring this up, but if I said it by myself,
Sure.
it would sound super racist. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
already set up for a good conversation here. Now that I'm
Okay.
saying that,
All right.
no, but I saw a very interesting thing on TikTok today, and it was a guy, and he was saying like, oh, he was talking about rap music, and he was talking about how like rap music is like modern rap music. I'm gonna say it's like can be very toxic, where it's a lot of people like hyping up drugs and violence and whatnot. And he talked about how like if you approach like most labels, or rather like most like radio stations to play some music, they don't allow like any type of violence or anything, except when it comes from like rap music. And it got me like thinking like, is there like has it got is it like I feel like music can be very culturally or just impactful for people in general. Like music is very important to a lot of people. And do you think that like the rap music has gone like a little bit too far to a point where it might be advocating for and not maybe intentionally advocating, but like having an unintended consequence of like having a negative impact on like the black community by glorifying things that shouldn't be glorified?
So if they think that rap music is bad now, they would have lost their shit in the 90s.
Do you
right?
you don't think it was better then? Because maybe I'm wrong. I just want to.
No, absolutely not.
No?
Rap like there's a whole subgenre of rap called like gangster rap, right?
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, and if you've listened to people like Big L, who was the oh god, I'm forgetting all the rappers who pretty much are dead from my playlist now. But there's a lot of rappers, especially in the 90s, who this is what rap music only was. Mostly, primarily, it was whatever they're complaining about now. Like this was the majority of rap music, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if they're complaining about it now, like they would have lost the shit in the 90s, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I think that, and I have this entire theory, and I would love to do like an entire YouTube video on it or whatever, how rap music was used to push systemic racism.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or I'm sorry, systemic oppression, not racism. Because when you have to get into the culture and the history behind this, right?
Sure, yeah.
And it is that you have to understand that a lot of these rappers who grew up in that time, and maybe even now, came from nothing. They were born poor, right? They watched their parents struggle, live with single mothers, but they had a talent, right? They could rap. That was their talent. And they got big and they got famous, and like you should know that the music industry is fucked, right? Like you have to sing and rap and dance and do what they want you to do.
Right, yeah.
Right? And like who was signing the checks of the NWA? Black people? No, it was fucking white people, right? It was a white man. And they were pushing them, yeah, rap about this, right? Dance, yeah, N-word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about drugs and guns and money, right? And shooting each other up. And I think that was, personally, I think that was pushed to poison the minds of young black men, right? Because when you look at this from a psychological perspective, and this is something that I grew up with, right? You grow up poor, you have nothing, and then you see people who are idolized, people like Biggie Smalls and Tupac, and they came from nothing, and now they're making millions. And I talk about women, which I want women, I want money, I want cars and Bentleys and all this stuff like that, right? And I could do that if I rap. I could do that if I sell drugs. I could do that if I get into gangs, right? Because that's how they made it. So that's how I'm gonna make it. And then they go out and they do those things because it's impressionable on the minds of young black men, right? Especially teenagers and And I think that that was a method of furthering systemic oppression by pushing that kind of music, because when you think about it, that's primarily what we had.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Rap music was all about that.
So you think that like there is a contribution of rap music being mainstream as like as part of expanding systemic racism? Is that what you?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that was basically what I was asking. Like, if you thought, because because I had a couple things. Like, one thing is my understanding, and like from what you're saying, I'm wrong, and of course I'm not like super educated on like rap, so like it's very
Mhm.
easy for me to be wrong here. But like my understanding was like it started off talking about more real issues, and then it kind of devolved or maybe evolved into talking a lot more about like glorifying like that kind of a lifestyle. And so that's why I had thought it got worse, but I guess that makes sense when you're talking about like gangster rap.
Yeah,
Just
I
before.
mean, don't get me wrong. Not all rap is negative, right? It really depends on what you want to listen to. There's a lot of like Christian rappers out there, right? Like really good Christian rappers.
I didn't even know
Not
that.
Yeah, yeah. There's like Christian rap, and it's these rappers are really really good. Like I forgot this one dude's name. I gotta add him on my Spotify. But and it's not because I'm not even a Christian. I'm agnostic. But I like the lyrics and stuff like that. Even if I'm like, okay, I can bump to this Jesus shit. But there's a lot of positive rap music out there, and there's a lot of positive rappers out there, but nobody wants to listen to them
Right,
because
yeah.
like people can't congest. Is that the right word?
I think
Ingest.
ingest. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yes,
digest.
right.
So I
Ingestion.
guess
Yeah,
we're both
they
wrong.
can't
Yeah.
digest. Digest. That's the word I'm looking for. They can't digest too much intelligence or things that are deep, right? They want to fucking party and dance and listen to music and say
Well, it's
that,
also
oh,
not
this pumps
cool.
or
It's
this
also not
slaps.
cool to
Yeah,
be like. That's another thing too.
exactly.
People think it's
Like,
like super cool to be like gang banging and stuff,
yeah, exactly.
especially white kids.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think the white kids are really just the ones who I don't know. They can listen to the music, but if they grew up in that type of situation, I think they can understand it. But if they didn't, they're kind of just like,
Well, yeah, that's like when I was younger, I listened to Eminem. I thought it was cool, and then my mom was like, "Stop," because it's cursing, and then I stopped listening to it. And that was pretty much it.
I mean, yeah, I still like Eminem though. Like I always liked Eminem, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, it definitely is an issue. I've always felt that music has an impact on people. Like you were a rocker growing up, right?
Hmm.
Or you listen to rock music and you know how like it makes you feel, right? When the
Yeah,
older you
right.
get, yeah, it makes you feel empowered. Or like if you're depressed, you go and you listen to fucking
Yeah,
Evanescence, right?
yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah. But see, that's
Like,
another one of
oh,
the
my
things that it's
girl,
like that's
yeah,
not real metal. But I know what you're exactly what you're talking about. You listen
yeah,
to like
yeah.
depressing music. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And it makes you feel like, yeah, I'm having a good cry, and you get all dramatic and shit like that. Oh, dude, I'm so glad that TikTok was not around when I was a teenager. I would have so much
I
cringe
am telling
content.
you, I agree with you
Oh my
100% there.
god,
I
dude.
agree with you so very wholeheartedly on that. Oh, I would have been. It would have been so cringy, bro. So
Oh my
bad.
god.
I'm so happy every day that I was just not around. Like that I'm old. Like I think I'm like a good age where like and I've
Yeah.
had and everybody has their embarrassing slips on TikTok, but like I would have been so much worse. I'm a very much learn through experience kind of guy, which is why when I make mistakes, I generally try to learn from them. And like you know, that certainly would have been what was going on as I was
Oh my
younger.
god. Dude, my entire page would have been a cringe fest, bro. I swear to you. I would have been doing like cool. I'm throwing up hard quotes right now. Cool anime shit. And I don't know, dude. Just, oh my god, it would have been bad.
You would have been a cool
But
guy, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I thought that shit was cool back then, but oh my god, it was not. It really wasn't. Um, but yeah, man. So like, if you do want any insight on that, like, if people are pushing that now, that narrative now that black music is offensive or harmful, in
Mhm.
some ways it can be because music is powerful, music is impressionable, but it's not. I don't think it's any worse than what like I grew up with. You know what
Right,
I
you
mean?
think that it's
Look,
like so you're saying that it's like it's not as bad now, but I would say there's a much more mainstream now. Um
no, it was mainstream back then too, but
in the
like
in the
how we
night,
look
yeah, I
at
guess so.
mainstream now, yeah, how we look at mainstream now. I mean, at least in the inner city, it was mainstream, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, right. Well, now I'd say
yeah,
it's like mainstream in general. I mean, like we were talking about before, white kids are super into it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
become less of like I guess you'd consider less of like a cultural thing. Well, it is, but less of like a cultural thing and more of like a what the hell did I want to say? Like more of a I don't know.
It's just it's. I would say that like rap music now is like the most popular like rap or any mix of rap and
Yeah.
like EDM and stuff like that. Because you know what's funny? My friend has a theory, right?
Mhm.
And he theorizes that music goes through phases where rap becomes really, really popular, and then rap starts to evolve into rock or alternative rock. And then
But like
alternative rock,
historically,
yes, and then alternative rock kind of dies out, and then rap music becomes popular again. And you can actually see that with a lot of
maybe.
artists. Like, what's the dude? I'm a big bear, big
Oh,
dog. I'm a
don't
lion, right?
Mario
Yeah, that
Judah.
dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mario Judah, yeah, like he has a very like, and him and other artists are kind of like evolving into this very alternative type of style. And then a couple of years, I think alt rock will be popular again, and then alt rock will be on top for a while, and then it'll go back to like rap music.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've seen that kind of consistently happen. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, right.
Right?
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, before I think I was trying to say it was used to be like an expression. Like rap used to be more of an expression and less of like a destination for some people. I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's I guess where I
Yeah.
was trying to come from with
Yeah.
that.
Right?
Um,
It's like we didn't have anything like this is like they why do rappers rap about what they rapped about, right? It's
yeah,
because
right.
they came from things they didn't have, right? And they could still rap about poverty, but they would mix that in with I didn't have this, now I have this, and you know what I mean?
Now you have
Um
Drake going around who had like everything and he was rapping about how he did it.
talking about
You know what I mean? He
yeah,
said
we
like
started at the bottom, now wait, what, bro?
yeah,
Like
right.
you on
Like
the
he
grass.
well,
What the fuck you talking
in his defense, he was in a wheelchair for a long time.
about?
That's a Degrassi joke for anybody in the audience.
No, I know,
No, I know
yeah. I
you
mean,
do.
I
I just
don't yeah, yeah.
he was actually a pretty good actor on the show though. I'll just say that. Like I did watch Degrassi. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I never
Yeah.
watched it.
But he certainly didn't start from the bottom of anything.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Uh,
But I did actually I wanted to pick your brain about something,
yeah, sure.
and that is what is your perspective on the whole um it's it's uh it's transphobic to not want to date a trans person, and the kind of these radical liberals, as I call them, the rad libs,
The
so the
rad level.
SJW.
Well, I guess we'll
Yeah.
split it into two things. So first
Yeah.
and foremost, super straight is because of radical liberals. T
Yes,
Blizzy
I
is
agree.
like the probably the most prominent. T Blizzy, I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know if you know who that creator
He's
is.
a
on
fucking
TikTok.
idiot. I
She,
absolutely know
I
she-
wouldn't be that mean.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that mean. She's young and like she's an intelligent person, but I also think that like intelligence disconnects people from the real world, in a lot of cases, which is why there's like a diminishing returns on intelligence because some people really become too intelligent for their own good. But like she started this whole narrative of like you're transphobic if you because I remember it was her and then like Freak the Gemini were kind of going at it. Freak was like you can be an advocate for trans people without like wanting to fuck them.
Yeah.
Which is like huge because like not to get all like whatever woke, but I know in like the black community it can be very difficult for people to accept trans people, and like I think Freak is a perfect representation of like somebody who like grew up in like that place that was like almost toxic, but like changed to like somebody who's incredibly active about like in social issues where he's very affirming of like everybody, and he was like fighting for Asian people's rights and or like against like the shit going on before it was cool. He was like doing it since for like a year now. He's been going to rallies. Anyway, she started that whole thing, and it kind of turned into this whole situation that I think has been really bad for LGBT people. Nobody in the real world goes around saying I do or don't like trans people to date first. Like, it's a really weird thing that you even have to tell people why you wouldn't be with a trans person. But I think it's preferential. I think it's done the same thing as like you wouldn't want to date somebody who's fat. It's a preference.
Yeah.
Or maybe you prefer people that don't have glasses, like you know what I mean. It's upsetting.
Yeah,
for,
but
you know,
they would say that like you could see a person who's fat. Well, let's say you can't. Let's say somebody has like a fucking girder on, right? And and this is one of my counter arguments. If I'm not into fat women, right?
Sure.
And like I meet some girl at the club, that's always this fucking scenario they think is gonna happen. What if you meet a girl at the club and she's beautiful? It's not, dude. Have you seen, no offense to a lot of trans people, but have you seen like 90% of them? Most of them don't look like absolutely gorgeous women that I would probably date, right?
No, well, wait, no. Most trans women are not passable. I know exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not trying to talk shit about them. I'm just saying, like, a lot of them are not. I can tell. Like, dude, I eat bacon, right?
Yeah,
I eat bacon all the time. I can tell when somebody gives me shitty turkey bacon. Like, I just know because I eat bacon.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think that's a trend within people who are more accepting of trans people who know how to clock a trans person better. Like, because most people would see the person and be like, oh, she's cute, and then whatever. But like, if you look at a trans, for the most part, Like trans women have bigger hands. They have like more prominent jaws. They have like a deepness to their voice that can be a little bit subtle.
Yeah.
They have their body fat tends to go more into their stomach rather than their hips and their breasts. You can see like a little bit of it. So yeah, but then like of course a lot of people still don't clock it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But if somebody had like a fucking girder on, and then like I, took them home or whatever, and then they take it off, and like just an extra 40 pounds flops out, I'm gonna be like, no. You know what I mean?
That does happen a lot.
Yeah,
People mostly women tend to wear like the is it called a girder? That thing, that whole corset,
Girder,
whatever.
corset,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I think
Like,
that like
does that make me fat phobic? That doesn't
no, I
add up.
think it's preferential. I think it's preferential. I think that at like listen, there might be an argument to be made that people might have deep-seated homophobia or transphobia where like at the end it's such like a loaded thing. So I think that everybody likes to say that like, trans women I think are women and trans men are men. Trans women are women and trans men are men. I want to be very affirming about like my perspective on that. But there's a difference, and like everybody knows it. Even progressives who are like, it's problematic to say that. They say that, but then they still call them trans women. So if you're calling somebody a trans woman, you understand there's a difference. And as a society, I think that we need to focus as little on the differences between trans women and trans people and cis people in general, and more on like upbringing trans people. But there are some scenarios that I think we need to acknowledge a difference, and that's mostly sports and relationships. And like, if you're a person who's not comfortable dating somebody who you perceive as a man to an extent, I don't think that's transphobic. Because at the end of the day, realistically speaking, and I don't say this to be antagonistic, and I would never say this outside of the confines of a conversation like this, there's a part of trans women that will always be men. Unfortunately, like, and I don't like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, the how much you put into that, it will determine how much you're willing to associate with a trans person. So for me, it means literally nothing that a trans person used to be a biological man or however you want to phrase it. But to other people, there's a lot of value in that. They still have their own, like, and you could call it mental fragility associated with it, but it's their right to have that mental fragility.
Yeah.
So you don't have to engage. I think that as long as you're at least a neutral force, which is like not advocating against rights for trans people, that like you're not transphobic. But I think that I think that realistically you should be somebody who is like trying to be affirming of trans rights.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like the whole this conflation of the word woman, you know what I mean, with trans women, and they say real women, like they're real women. It's like, do you even know what you're saying? Like they're just suffering from semantic overload. They hear it so often that they don't actually know what the fuck they're saying. They're just repeating it to be woke, right?
Yeah, you're talking about people who say real women in place of cis women. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you say real woman, I don't know if they even have a definition. They just say real women, and I'm like, well, that's not the same as cis woman, which is what I'm talking about. Like, that to me is a real woman. If I would have to throw up quotes and say real, that's what I identify as a real woman. I'm not saying that trans women are. Like, wouldn't the opposite be like they're fake women?
Yeah, well, that's what people would,
I mean?
they would say like, yes, that's what I mean. You know, a lot of that is
like,
their perspective. Yeah,
I'm not saying that their identity, and people are like, well, what's their identity? And I'm just like how would you gender them? And I'm just like, I can't gender somebody. That's a personal thing. And they're like, well, if you had to, how would you? And I'm just like, well, I stand by the fact that I think that a woman is an adult human female. Keyword on the female, right?
Yeah, right.
And that a trans woman is a trans woman. Why do they have to be real? I'm throwing up quotes here again. Real women to be valid, right? And I've said this before. Like, you are diminishing the trans part of their life, right? Instead of trying to uplift the trans part, right? If you feel that strongly about it, take the fucking T out of LGBT, right? Because it's not needed if we only have men and women, you know. And I don't feel wrong in saying that, but people tell me, oh, I'm transphobic because I believe that. But it's like, dude, stop telling me who the fuck I can date or not.
Yeah, I think I think the problem comes in when we get these complicated like conversations about dating. Like people, a lot of people are affirming of trans people until it comes to the dating, they get uncomfortable, and like I think that's understandable. I don't think that anybody should have to date somebody. And then once we get into these conversations, it sounds like people aren't validating trans people when they're just trying to like say they're like a legitimate truth. Like it's almost damning to suggest that trans women uh, have the biology of like a guy, and like it sounds so
Yeah.
transphobic where like I'm afraid to almost say it, but it's like, listen, like that's just the unfortunate reality of the world. um and people, I don't know, they don't allow that. I do think that as we've grown, we kind of redefined what a woman is in society to fit trans women, which I think is totally fine. But that doesn't mean that there's not like a difference. You know, everybody has so many different identities. I don't think it's criminal for me not to want to date somebody for one of their identities. Like, I don't like thinner women. Am I some kind of phobic against thin women? You know, like, no. And like I like women, like, I don't know, some guys like women with like small asses. Like, are they like fat phobic or something? Like, there's so many different identifiers here.
Would they? They would probably counter that with like, oh, but that's not like part of their identity, or like they're still a woman. You know, it's like there's always some
What,
weird
like
kind of
trans?
argument.
Yeah, it's yes or
Yeah, you
no.
know what I mean? And it's like, dude, I just don't feel comfortable knowing that somebody was born a male.
Yeah.
That because I'm heterosexual. My straight brain just tells me like no.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I've said it to
And
progressives before, but
you know,
I've been like, I think it's a little gay to date somebody with a penis, and they're like, no, a penis is not male. I'm like, it kind of is though, bro. You
yeah,
know, like,
yeah. And then the whole oh, what about post-op, dude? Do you even understand the percentages of how small that is? Right? Like, or if they're post-op and all this stuff, and I'm just like, dude, I don't care if they're post-op, pre-op, post-op. You know what I mean?
no, you
Like,
use. There's still part of him that's like, okay, I still perceive this person like as a man, or even just masculine
I say that
enough
that's
where,
transphobic. That's the
yeah.
part that I say is
Hey,
transphobic.
listen,
That I still see them as a man.
but you're not fully seeing them as a man. You're seeing them enough as a man where like it turns you off, but like, which could be 5%. You're a
Yeah.
straight male, so if
Yeah.
you perceive somebody as like a bit masculine, because they're trans, it's the same thing as seeing a woman with like hairy lips and being like, yeah, I'm not into that.
Yeah,
It's
you know,
like
and
you're,
it's not like I'm not attracted to every woman anyway.
yeah,
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah,
Like
right,
I don't. They're like, oh, what about infertile women? Because when you bring up the kids argument, well,
yeah, right.
there's women who infer. I'm like, I wouldn't date them either. Like the fuck, like
Yeah,
this.
it
You know what I
gets
mean? Like I wouldn't
it's
date them either.
it's incredible because you have these arguments going on, and I guarantee you, people like T Blizzy wouldn't date a trans person.
She says that she has.
Yeah, okay.
She says
Although it
she
is
has.
more
Yeah.
common for women. Like, listen, there might be an argument to be made about like some kind of like, but there's different standards for men and women. Like people, like men, I would say generally see it more gay to date a trans woman than women see it as gay to date a trans
Dude,
man.
women like they lay in each other's laps and play with each other's
Yeah,
hair. Like men
yeah,
don't. You know what I mean? I think like women have more of that in them than men do. Men are just we don't really do that with each other, like hold
yeah.
hands and shit. But
That's
girls will do
yeah,
that,
that's
so it
gay. You
makes
know what
more
I mean?
sense.
Like,
That, yeah,
it
you
sounds
know,
like it's toxic masculinity, but listen, like, there's a reason for that. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm assuming there's like a power thing where men like to be like strong, like you know. But that's life,
I don't
bro.
know, dude. I don't know.
I,
Like,
I would say here's my biggest thing. This is, I guess, how this is the question I think is more important than whether you're transphobic if you date a trans person. Um, like, do you think that like there's a couple of questions, I guess. Like, would you stop men, or would you say, okay? My thing is like, I would date a trans woman, but I can understand why people wouldn't. But I'm not somebody who would go out and advocate for you being gay if you would date a trans person, because I think that as society moves on, it could be considered not gay. Like, everything's very much about its like societal interpretation. So like, are you hell bent on it always considering everybody gay if they date a trans person, I guess?
no, and here's the
No.
thing, because heterosexuality is fluid as well. Like
Yeah.
people think that heterosexuality is like set in stone, but there's different subsets of heterosexuality, right? Like you have people who are hetero fluid. You know,
Oh
like
yeah,
you
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
primarily date the opposite sex, but maybe sometimes you don't. Or you have people who date the primary sex.
That's
but
why
are
I think
okay
we
with
should
dating
like we
trans
should dumb
people.
everything down to
Yeah,
stop calling it, like, we have so many terms for everything, and it's like, yeah, like your sexuality is very fluid. Like, why do we need to have
mhm,
hyper specific labels? Like, who gives a shit, honestly?
exactly.
But that's my
Right.
thing. Like, I think it's gay if you date a trans woman, honestly, regardless of how like passable they are. Like, a little bit
Mhm,
gay, like varying degrees, maybe 5% for super passable.
mhm,
I don't know, but that's not something
mhm.
I think everybody should experience. That's just how I feel, and I wouldn't advocate that. Like, I'm not sitting here going like, yeah, you're trans. Like, no, different people have different interpretations. I'm totally fine with that. It's just me personally. I think if you're not somebody who goes out of your way to be like, no, it is gay and you're gay, like, just, if you, as long as you just shut, like, keep in mind it's a personal preference. As long as you're not trying to force society to believe these things, I don't think it's a big deal.
That's where my problem comes in, where it's like it's being forced on us. Like I literally got my entire account banned for this shit. You know what I mean? For stating this opinion of mine.
Well, yeah,
And
it's
and the fact of the matter is that like I don't I support trans people, gay people, everybody as much as I can, right? Like wholeheartedly, I do, right? I support them very much, but when it's like it's being pushed on me that this ideology is toxic, when I'm just like, dude, I'm just being myself.
It's toxic that we're talking about it, like, and
exactly.
the only reason like we're talking, because like nobody, like, listen, tell me if you're trans or not, and then I'll decide if I want to date you. Like, we don't need to have, like, I don't actually have to give my reason why I wouldn't date a trans. I would, but like, why people don't need to give you their reasons. But we're online, so we're talking about it. When it, like, we really don't, like, you don't have to value. You could literally just be like, oh, I just don't like trans men. Well, why? It's like, it doesn't matter why. Like, maybe it's because you can't have babies, and I don't want to talk to you. Like, you don't have to give like your written, like, you know, a written essay on why you don't want to date trans people. But that's how it is on the internet, where like we start having these conversations, or whether it's transphobic or not. And then of course people can like almost gaslight you into thinking that you are transphobic, which then makes you more transphobic because you're forced to pick a camp instead of understand that there's like a midline
Exactly.
here. It gets all fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of gaslighting, and even you saying that they consider to be transphobic, like, oh, they shouldn't have to tell you that they're trans because they're just women or they're just men, and it's like, well, no.
Here's
the answer is no.
Here's the thing. This is gonna sound really harsh, but this is the reality. All right, like women, trans women have like a disproportionate amount of violence, like committed onto them. We'll say, right? Yes. I guarantee you that like most of the killings and everything are when somebody finds out that they're trans after they slept with them. And I'm not victim blaming, because I think that person should be fully prosecuted, and people shouldn't do that. But like, what ends up happening is like a lot of trans people they want to date cis people. It makes like to validate them more, and I get it. But like, there are people, like, if you're going to not tell people, a lot of people don't want to date you, and you know what's going to happen. So like that's when it usually happens, is after, and maybe there's some internalized homophobia. I don't know, but like at the end of the day,
look, if somebody sleeps with a trans person and then the trans person tells them, hey, I'm trans afterwards, and that person harms, assaults, or kills that trans person, that person was fucked up to begin with. Because no normal person would do that anyway.
Yeah, I imagine that you may not necessarily want to sleep with a trans person. I don't think you'd kill them. I think you would just be like, all right, I'm not talking to you anymore. Like, that was not right.
Yeah, no, dude. Like, if I slept with somebody and somehow didn't know through the fucking magic of I don't fucking know, Jesus and shit, right? Because I guarantee you I would know. But if I somehow didn't know, if I just met like the baddest trans woman on earth and we had a relationship and then she told me she was trans, to be honest, with the way that I am, I would probably just be like, okay, cool. I probably would still date them after finding that out.
Right. You know what depending on how attached you are. What if you had a one night stand? Would you be like a little uncomfortable and you wouldn't want to fuck with them again? I guess it'd have to be super passable for you to not find out. So it's like a little bit. Yeah. But I think
absolutely.
I think that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's dude. I'm a passionate person, man. I care about people a lot, and honestly, I've dated. There was one particular woman I was with, and she had a considerable amount of bodies. And when she told me that, like, I understood the reasoning why that she told me, right? And why she
was a turnoff, I imagine, to you.
No, it wasn't. No? Oh, not really. No, I don't, because I don't care about anybody's sexual history. You know what I mean? Because like I see people for who they are. And again, if I dated a trans person and I really like them a lot, and then I don't know, I find out that they're trans and they're very passable. They have to be very passable.
Right.
Maybe I would just be like, you know what? I love this person for who they are. I care about them for who they are. But I don't know that. All I know is that in my straight brain, I think that initially, if I found out first, I would not want to.
Make it to
but later,
I
probably would have the exact opposite reaction of a lot of these psychopaths.
Right, yeah. People want to like beat the shit out of people. Like I think that's,
just subscribe.
Thank you so much for the sub, my man. And see, that's the thing. People are like, oh, it's sexual. I don't think it's sexual assault. I think it's like a violation.
That's stupid, dude. It's not illegal.
Sexual assault.
It's not sexual. It's not a lack of consent either. I don't think so. Like, consent is very. We got to stop throwing that word around.
Yeah, I think that like you can make an argument of lack of like informed consent.
It's disrespectful
for sure, but I would say it's similar to like what you just said. Like, so it's lack of informed consent in the same way where like if I slept with a girl who had like 40 bodies and she didn't tell me, that's not sexual assault. I think that I can say I'm violated, but like not sexual assault. And that's how I put it. You know what I mean? It would be like the same thing as like if you gave a vegan a hamburger and they didn't know it. Like that's a violation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's sexual assault. I think people like it's not like
and well, factually, it isn't. That's not the definition of how. Yeah, like in order to have sexual assault, it needs to be some type of force or coercion.
Yeah, right. You know, again, people probably say like the whole coercion thing. I just don't. I don't think so though. I think I agree with you like wholeheartedly.
That's not how coercion. I know the law actually pretty well, and that's not how coercion.
You see, people are saying it's a violation of consent.
Like, yeah, the law has an entirely different dictionary of law terms to specify how things work in the law.
I know
that is not what coercion is.
People are getting upset because they're like, I don't agree. Like, listen, like, even if it like can call it a violation of consent, I wouldn't call it sexual assault. Like, it's like I said, the same thing as if they don't tell you they have 40 bodies. Like, it's a violation in that context.
I believe if you're an adult and you sleep with a trans person, right, and you consented to it and they consented to it, you both consented. It's not your fault that you're stupid enough to not fucking notice that they had Superman's chin, bro. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's on you, dude.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. You know, it's like it's the same thing as like, okay, here's the scenario. Maybe people will understand this. Okay, let's say you said that you were like a famous celebrity, and it turned out that you slept with a woman, and that's the way that you got them into bed. Would you consider that sexual assault? I wouldn't. You're a dickhead, and you violated them, but it's not sexual assault. It's like that. That's how I would say it is. It's not it's not the same as like any forcible thing. And like, of course, you're sensitive about it because like, you feel like you might be kind of gay, but like, you know, that's kind of like a little bit of your problem. You know what I mean? Like that's unfortunate.
And I mean, on top of that too, like if I don't really have like rules or limits when it comes to how long it is I sleep with somebody. Like I'll fuck somebody in the first date. I don't care.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. But like if you are going around doing that, you need to understand the consequences of that choice. Right. So if you're sleeping with somebody on the first date and you don't know anything about them, then that means that you should expect everything that you don't know about them to possibly happen. Or to like if I meet somebody,
I understand what you're saying.
It's like that's a decision I decided to make. I fucked up.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think that it can be difficult for some people to identify as trans. I understand, and like the way that you're saying it, like get to know somebody more. Like if you're gonna engage in hookup culture, which is where most of this happens. If you're dating somebody just to fuck them, you're gonna see more likely for them to lie. You know, and it gets into a conversation of like, like I think trans people always have to tell, but when it comes to hookup culture, there's a lot of things that we violate. Like there's a lot of married men and women who do this shit. That's a violation if they don't tell me they're married, but we still engage in it. And like I think that trans women should always have to say something. But when you're engaging in hookup culture, you might be asking for it more. To be violated in that way. Like you're kind of asking for it a little bit because you're trying to fuck somebody without understanding them at all.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
exactly. And that really, that comes down to your choice that you made, a relatively possibly poor choice, you know. But
right. For like, at least for your whatever your values would be considered, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact of the matter is that, like, again, dude, I would do this and fully understand the possible consequences that would come with it. Right, but that's the decision I want to make because I'm trying to smash. You know what I mean? I don't fuck about anything else. If that is your goal, then that is your goal. Accept it and everything that comes with it.
Yeah, right. Like you know, it's a little bit your fault if you get tricked by a trans woman. Is basically what we're coming.
It really is. It's legit.
It's your fault. It sucks for you, but like you'll live too. Like you don't have. People are like, oh well, what if I fuck somebody? And I didn't tell them that I had AIDS. It's like, well, that person is going to die, right? So like, you sleeping with a trans, like you could, that's assault. Yeah, so not informing somebody, that's assault. That like you have literal harm. The only harm to you if you accidentally sleep with a trans woman is that you're going to be a little uncomfy with yourself.
You're going to feel kind of gay.
You're going to question. You're going to feel a little gay. And like that's okay. Like if you're not gay and you feel gay, that's totally fine. Like I get it, but like you'll be okay. Like you'll be okay.
And it's like even like how you know what it is. I think that people have unrealistic expectations of others, and if let's say you sleep with a trans person, right? And then you find out after that they were trans, right? And what are you gonna be like? You didn't tell me that you were trans. It's like you have this expectation, and I'm specifically talking about hookup culture. That person had to tell you that like from like just meeting.
Yeah,
Shit.
You know what, it gets because I still think that they should, but like, and it gets so complicated. It's like, but the reason they're not is because they feel uncomfortable that you might hurt them, and then it gets to this thing, and like, you know, I don't know. But my thing is though, is that now that we have Tinder. So like, if a trans person doesn't say they're trans in their bio, there's no excuse. It's one thing to go to a bar. I feel like we could have like a conversation about, do you have to, or is it understandable that you don't give out that you're trans at a bar or club setting because you saying I'm trans could get you hit? But if it's on like Tinder, that's different to me, because like, you won't get hit. It's on Tinder. You know what I mean?
I think that I think that if you're about to hook up with somebody at a bar and you're, you know, as a trans person, I very much understand the shit that they can go through simply for being trans. But you should probably tell somebody, just like, to be safe, right? Hey, look, I'm trans. If you want to move forward with this, then that's fine. And if all these fucking people who are so woke on here are valid, like they say, then they should be fine taking them all home, right?
But that's the thing, is that they wouldn't.
Yeah, just give it the disclaimer, bro. Like, I'm trans, so like there's no repercussions later. And again, I understand this is not the whole victim blaming thing. We gotta teach people not to. But dude, people who are fucked up are always gonna be fucked up. That will never ever change.
I think that I think that the biggest thing that people need to do, I guess, as cisgender people, is that we need to figure out a way to make trans people feel comfortable coming out that they're trans to you. I
agree,
and I think that could reduce a lot of the hatred. But also, there are trans people who know that, like, because like, let's say somebody said to you that you're trans, you'd be like, okay, no thank you, like I respect you, but no thank you. But a lot of people want you to fuck them, so they might just be like, you know what, I don't care.
Exactly.
Because that's a lot of it too, is like they want to have sex with you and they don't want to say it, because like a respectful no is still not their goal. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's unfortunate that, you know.
Dude, there are things about like myself that I wouldn't tell people, because if I'm trying to, you know, hook up with them, because I might be afraid. Like, I smoke, and I know that's like a big turnoff for a lot of people, right? Particularly women. And dude, I will go on a date and just not smoke an entire cigarette the whole time and be fucking dying inside. But I'm like, yo, if I smoke and they're turned off by it, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's gonna diminish my chances. So like, I understand that feeling, right? But again, I don't know where this is gonna go. Now, if the relationship, if we go on a second date or whatever, or a third, and then now it's like, okay, hey, I smoke, right? You should know that, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know, but that's, again, if I sleep with somebody, and then like, it's not like you didn't fuck a cigarette, right? And that's different.
Yeah,
right?
I would say, I would say that it's like,
you know,
somewhat comparable in the sense that like you're withholding something that people may not like about you. But like, you know, that people are much more sensitive about dating trans people. Obviously, you know, it's never like it's never a perfect scenario. We'll say it's unfortunate, I guess, for you know, trans women specifically, but I guess all parties, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, and dude, honestly, I wish a lot more trans people could come out and be safe. You know what I mean? Because you never know how somebody's gonna react. But like I said, dude, messed up people are always gonna exist. And as much as I wouldn't want any of them to ever get hurt, unfortunately, it happens because you have these people out there who are just fucking crazy, or they're so scared of their own sexuality that they don't want to be near them more.
Yeah,
you know,
that's part of it too. Yeah.
And there's really nothing we can do about that. But if we can try to teach the people who will listen as much as possible, you know what I mean? Then hopefully, you know, it'll change minds, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's like one of those things where we have to like take the steps towards getting to that point, you know?
Exactly. And as a society, I don't think that we're there yet.
No, not at all. We're getting there, kind of.
Yeah.
What's interesting here though is, like, for me personally, I don't know if I'd want to fuck a trans person, trans woman without their penis. Like, that's, to me, it's almost like what's the point, right? Like, you're getting the best of both worlds there. You know?
Are you like Magneto in fucking X-Men First Class, where like Mystique is like in her human form, and he's like, I wanna, you know, do it with the real Mystique.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like I want the penis. That's like,
you might as well just fuck a woman then, right?
That's what makes.
If that's the case.
Wait, what'd you say?
You might as well just fuck a woman then.
That's so fucked up. People would get so much shit for that.
You know?
I understand what you're saying. Like, you know, some people would say like they have like a custom coochie that's like better than normal. Not normal. Sorry, that's came off so wrong.
I don't know.
You gotta be so careful talking about these things, you know what I mean? Because like all of a sudden, this could be the YouTube video that gets 600,000 views, and it's like BlackBird and Papa God are so transphobic that they need to kill themselves, and then you have people in the comments calling us like fucking terrible things, and also we need to die. And I already have that over my this joke. People are like, you really need to kill yourself. I can't believe you misgendered somebody. I'm sitting here and I'm like, no offense, but like. This is like the fucking progressive paradox. I don't even know if I'm using that right. Progressive paradox. It's like progressives won't really go after conservatives as much as they'll go after other progressives.
Oh, absolutely. You know what's funny?
So woke.
In the entire year of me railing against Trump supporters, right? Nobody has ever told me to kill myself until I started making the videos about like it's not being transphobic. Then people were literally telling me to like,
oh yeah, you gotta kill yourself.
Off myself, which is insane to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the nuance is dead. It's either all or nothing, and you don't look good going at like, oh, that's a Nazi over there. He's bad. Yeah, no kidding. But the guy that likes trans people, they think trans women are women, but doesn't want to sleep with one. That guy's a bad guy. So So we got
let him unalive himself.
Yeah, unalive himself. Yeah, that's a good way to put that. That's what it is, man. It's kind of the reality. Like it's so you look more woke when you go after people who are like more on your side, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. It's a shitty reality, but it is the reality.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna let you get away with this sleeping with a trans with the PP thing. So you want the authentic experience, right? Because otherwise, what's the point?
Well, my thing is just like like if I was gonna listen. There's some men that I'm attracted to, but I'm mostly attracted to women, and I like femininity more than anything else. But like I like pee-pee. Like I would suck a dick. Like I want to. Let me just be clear. I want to. But like I would like to suck a trans dick. That would be like fun. You know what I mean? Like it's
like best of birth because you get like
it's like Hannah Montana.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And people be like, well, you're fetishizing, but like just to be clear, like I would date like a legit. Well, I wouldn't now because I'm in a relationship, but in a closed relationship. But I would date a trans person like legitimately. I've gone on dates with trans women. Like my goal isn't to just be like, oh, like I would claim it in public. I don't care at all. No problem. I have no issue with that. I find it disrespectful. Yeah, I would never. I would never. I was gonna say I'd never sleep with somebody that I wouldn't claim, but I would. I've slept with some less attractive people in my lifetime, but like when it comes to a trans person, like I would claim them in public. You know what I mean? If I wouldn't, it would be because they're ugly. If I wouldn't claim a trans person in public, it wouldn't be because they're trans. It would be because they're ugly.
I mean, then you would probably just have that at least that standard for most of your partners, right?
All women, yeah. Like there's women that I've slept with before that like I wouldn't go out into public with. They're disgusting.
Yeah. But I don't know. It reminds me of this this porn star Belladonna. I was reading one of her interviews, and she's like bisexual, and she says that she loves like fucking trans people because it's like she gets the woman part because she likes the way women look, and then she also gets a penis because she likes penis. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, I get that.
What does she look like, Belladonna? Oh,
Belladonna.
Belladonna. I've seen her before. Yeah. I've seen her before. It's good that we have like a good It's good that we understand something. It's usually the porn stars I like people don't know about. So
I was gonna say she's getting a little older now, but I think she's hot. So
it's unfortunate that like a lot of people in porn they have to give up their pornness. Like we get to a certain point where you can't do it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm really mad. Like Lily Tai quit. She needs to come back, and she needs to make a comeback. But. What are we turning into? What is this fucking? What's this dude? The talk show host, not talk show. I'm so stupid. Radio show host.
Who's that? Howard Stern.
Howard Stern. They're starting to sound like the Howard Stern show.
Yeah, no. Hey, listen, it's definitely more PG than the Howard Stern show. I'll tell you that much. I mean, that's just
for sure.
But you know, not bad stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
6 out of 10.
I noticed there's a bunch of people in here. Clay's in here. Do you know who Clay is?
I have no idea.
I don't know if you two have met. Clay, are you actually in here? Or are you just AFK'd in here?
What's up?
What? There's Clay. Yeah, no, you will. Well, it's
wait,
weird.
no, that's not Clay. It specifically says it's not Clay.
Oh yeah, it says it's not Clay. Yeah.
No.
It's like I like the interaction. He was like, I love the interaction because he was like, oh come on, stop it. Like you hear it all the time. How many times do you hear that?
Every fucking day of my life.
That's what you you did it to yourself a little bit.
Because
it's a paradox.
So it's my last name then my first name. So like it's kind of the username. I mean, made itself.
Gotcha.
To be honest.
Gotcha. Not Clay.
Is your last
much...
name not?
Yeah, NOTT. Yeah.
Oh, really? Like, oh, that's interesting. I never knew that. That's interesting.
Very odd.
Wow.
I mean, anyone if they go to my Insta can find that out, so they can know why it is that way. So
I thought that was like a trend.
Yeah, I've seen like
Jesus.
not in front of their name.
Yeah, they do.
So somebody asked a question in here. I want like to answer it. Like, as I said, if somebody is sexually assaulted and she wants to identify as a virgin, would you deem that acceptable? 100%. Rape isn't sex, so yeah, absolutely. And honestly, like, yeah, like I mean, like virginity is kind of a social construct. Like, it's almost irrelevant. Like people don't even break their hymens during sex anymore. Like if you're like a gymnast or you do any level of physical activity, it's very easy to break your hymen. So absolutely, we consider that person a virgin, 100%.